Current Pokémon sucks. Yeah, pretty hot take, right? But I mean it. I love Pokémon. It has been a huge part of basically my entire life. I have watched the anime, the movies, the manga, brushes, and of course, the video games. I first started with Pokémon Diamond. I know that the game has a lot of issues, mainly in regards to pacing, but I don't care. It's one of my favorites and it holds a special place in my heart because at the same time as I will play the game, I will watch the anime in Cartoon Network. I remember vividly how they would play the same episode 4 times in a day. It was crazy back then. One afternoon, after watching the last movie from the 4th gen, instead of going to commercials, the channel transitioned to Zekrom and Reshiram, and the anime was on HD and everything, and I was like, no way! Only for them to immediately show Ash's new design for the 5th gen. You can imagine my excitement, and I got super interested to play the video game counterpart, of course. However, at the time I wasn't as good with computers as I am today, so long story short, I couldn't find the game online. I just couldn't. It took me a couple of years, and to be honest, I think waiting that long soured my experience with the game, and it's a shame, because I was one of those people who didn't like Gen 5 at first. If only I had known how much damage I would cause. 2013 was a good year. I was finally starting to understand computers better, and I remember finding out about X and Y, and my mind was blown. Because mind you, on Cartoon Network Ash was only getting his 7th batch, I think. Meanwhile, in Japan, they were going crazy with Kalos and Mega Evolutions. I was able to catch up to the anime online. I remember watching the Origins special episodes over and over again. Still, I have fond memories with Gen 5. It was the last season that I watched via TV. Starting from X and Y, I will watch the anime online only. And I'm not quite done with the games of that gen, but I'll get to that later. Anyways, my brother is the GOAT! He decided to give me a 2DS for Christmas that year with, you guessed it, Pokémon X. Man! I love this game. I know that a lot of people don't like it because you can start to see how Game Freak treats you like an idiot, the characters can be annoying, the difficulty is non-existent and all of that, but I don't care. The first time I watched the 3D models for the Pokémon, my mind was blown, and the OST, oh my god! To mention how I feel while playing the games is very important, because I think that it shows that a lot of the time we don't play the games because they are the best technically or because the story or anything like that. We play them because Pokémon can be fun. After X and Y, Game Freak announced the remakes for Ruby and Sapphire. This era was fire as well. The marketing was on point with both the nostalgia and the new Mega Evolutions and the changes to the story. Sadly, I wasn't able to get the games at the times, but I did watch a ton of PokéTubers from the time and I had a good time even with just that. Then, next year we didn't get a new game. Everyone was waiting for Pokémon C, myself included, but I guess we had to wait 10 years for it. That year I remember playing on my smartphone Pokémon White 2. I'm not sure why I decided to do it, but I'm very happy that I did. I had a blast playing that game. I finally understood why people loved Gen 5. The graphics, the music, the atmosphere, everything is top notch. Most people say that this is the top Pokémon experience, and even though my favorite generation is Gen 4, I have to agree, this game is awesome. We are now on 2016, the 20th anniversary of Pokémon, and next year will be the 30th anniversary. Jesus, oh my god. This year was awesome for me, not just because of Pokémon. I love Nintendo, and at the time we were all invested into knowing what the NX would be, you know? I remember seeing news about a hybrid console of some sort, and nobody could have predicted the Switch. I just got myself an idea for a new video. Let's go back to Pokémon. The reveal for Pokémon Sun and Moon was pretty cool, but I remember how at the time we would get a new trailer every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks! Can you believe it? Every time that I will get a new trailer, I will go and show it to my friends to see their reaction. And of course, the anime was on point at the time. The Greninja Ash hype was insane. You really had to be there to experience it. You also had to be there when Ash lost in the finals. I'm still pissed about that to this day. And again, my brother as a Christmas gift gave me Pokémon Sun, and I remember 100%ing the game. I even completed the Pokédex and everything. I no longer have the game in my hands, but that doesn't matter. I'm super happy with my time in Alola, and at the time a lot of people were saying that this might be the best Pokémon ever, and I can definitely see why. Although some people were saying that this was the worst game. And yeah, I can also see why. It can feel very hand-holding and limited in some areas of the game. For next year, they announced Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and sadly, this is where my happy face goes down. From the first announcement, this looked and sounded fishy as hell. Remember how last year we got a trailer every 2 weeks? Where this year we will go months without any new information. What the fuck? And when the game is released, bro, no one liked it. This game is actually worse than the originals. It's even more hand-holding, has gimmicks that nobody cares, and the changes in the story actually made the story look bad. I always find funny how this generation can have both the best and the worst that the franchise has to offer, but hey, now we're going to enter the Switch era. It can't be that bad, right? 2018, the year of the World Cup, the year where the Switch was finally consolidated as a successful console, and the year where Pokemon's image started to drown. I don't remember the date, but I do remember just checking Twitter and seeing Game Freak announce a ton of projects on an event that wasn't from Nintendo, and you can imagine my face when I saw this. I'm sorry man, but honestly, I never got into the Pokemon Go hype. Why you ask? Well, I live in Costa Rica. Now, I don't want to brag, but Costa Rica is a 9th world country, so if I go on the streets with my phone outside of my pockets, I'm basically asking people to rob me. So I just never got too much into it, and I remember that it took them literal years to add more than the 151 original Pokemon. So seeing another remake of Gen 1 and in such a different art style, it just wasn't what I was expecting. This is a little bit of foreshadowing, but this Pokemon game will end up being the one with the most positive reception on the Switch. Still, Game Freak was aware of the demand for a real Pokemon gen on Switch, so much that on E3 of that year, they publicly announced how a new title was already on development and will be available for 2019. And on February of 2019, they finally announced it, Gen 8, Pokemon Sword and Shield, and everyone was hyped as hell with that reveal trailer. The game looked great, it looked open world, or at least way bigger than anything we have seen before from the series. And on the main console from Nintendo, what could go wrong? That's it. During one of the presentations for the game, the developers mentioned that not all of the Pokemon will be programmed into the games from now on. As you can imagine, people did not like that news. But hey, they must have a pretty good reason for it, right? They did it in order to focus on animations and the quality of the game overall. I guess that's fine, but when you give people this type of quality, well, they are not going to take it the best way. To keep things short, people were fucking angry. $60 for a brand new game that's so lackluster? Do you know what's the biggest issue with Sword and Shield? It's not the pace or the character or any of those things. The issue is that there's nothing to see. Everything feels so goddamn empty and small. Routes that are a straight line with no Pokemon, no trainer. I mean, what the fuck am I even doing at this point? And next year, on 2020, they will announce DLC for the games. That's right, now with the capabilities of the Switch, Game Freak finally took the leap to provide DLC to the main games. Again, by default, that's not a bad thing. The issue is when you can so clearly see that this is cut content. Even to this day, on 2025, the latest DLC is cut content, so much that they even advertise it before the release of the main game. 2021 was painful for me. As I have mentioned previously, Gen 4 is my favorite gen, and when I saw the reveal for the remakes, I'm not gonna lie, I got sick. Like, my stomach actually hurt that day, and my head was spinning. I remember that one of my friends is also a fan of Gen 4, and he was actually excited for the remakes, and seeing him be excited helped me feel better. I was with pure copium for the months until release, and then we have the Dawn fan in the room, Pokémon Legends Arceus. Now, this is interesting. The game has lots of issues, of course, but to this day I still think on a quote from Video Game Donkey, and he's right. This was a huge step in the right direction in my opinion. I know that I have been hating throughout the entire video, but honestly, well done for Game Freak, and I really hope that they can continue the momentum going onward. 2022. I remember thinking it's too early for Gen 9. Game Freak needs more time and other stuff. So when I saw the reveal of Pokémon Scarlet and Violet for the end of 2022, I remember thinking, oh shit, this is going to crash really hard, isn't it? Just like before, the trailers did not aspire any type of confidence on the fans, and when the game released, it was a bugfest. It really reminded me of the Cyberpunk situation. It was so bad that Nintendo had to go and formally apologize for the inconveniences. It will take them 3 years to fix the game, basically thanks to the Nintendo Switch 2, and even with that, I wouldn't recommend the game. This video is already way longer than normal, so I will be happy to dive into it on a later time.